The first warning didn't come from diplomats or press briefings. It came from soldiers on the edge of Burkina Faso, staring into the horizon as elite, unmistakably foreign figures appeared where they shouldn't have been. Not tourists, not observers, highly trained operatives, warships positioned with intent, whispers spread fast, NATO, linked CIA, adjacent mercenary, grade forces testing the border like predators circling prey. This wasn't routine movement, this was pressure, and the question hit hard: was Burkina Faso about to be challenged head-on? Drop your take, because what happened next shocked everyone watching. Inside Ouagadougou, the mood shifted instantly. Military command centers lit up as reports piled in, each one darker than the last. Analysts debated quietly: surveillance mission, intimidation tactic, or the early phase of destabilization. For a country with a long memory of foreign meddling, this felt personal. Someone was probing defenses, measuring response time, testing resolve, and at the center of it all stood a leader many outsiders still underestimated. Was this paranoia or preparation for something much bigger? Comment below, because the answer triggered a move no one expected. Captain Ibrahim Traoré didn't hesitate. While foreign analysts predicted caution, he chose speed. Rapid response units mobilized across strategic corridors. Border patrols doubled. Surveillance expanded overnight. Orders moved fast, sharp, and final. This wasn't just military readiness, it was a message. Burkina Faso will not be touched. He came for sovereignty, and he wasn't about to let it be tested quietly. This wasn't just a speech, it was a warning delivered through action. Do you think moving this fast was smart? Drop your opinion, because the escalation had only begun. As troops took positions under night skies, word spread through the ranks. The captain believed this was the real thing. Not a drill, not theater, a calculated challenge. He reviewed maps personally, tracked movements, and demanded readiness without panic. To his supporters, it looked like leadership built for crisis. To critics, it looked like dangerous defiance. But one thing was undeniable: he was built different, and the world just found out why. Is this strength or provocation? Comment now, because the reaction exploded beyond the borders. Within hours, social media across West Africa went into overdrive. Videos, voice notes, and speculation flooded timelines. Pan-African influencers framed the sightings as proof the West fears independent African leadership. They can't control him, one post read. Others warned that misreading intentions could spark something uncontrollable. Defense or escalation? Protection or provocation? The debate split audiences, but the energy was electric. Burkina Faso wasn't just trending, it was becoming a symbol. Which side are you on? Drop your stance. The next twist raised the stakes even higher. Traoré didn't retreat into silence. Behind closed doors, insiders say his tone was calm but unyielding. If they challenge our sovereignty, they challenge our people. It wasn't dramatic rhetoric, it was a line drawn in fire. Emergency protocols expanded. Intelligence teams mapped every reported movement. Counter-infiltration units went on standby. This wasn't fear. This was preemptive strength. He wasn't waiting to be cornered. He stepped forward. Is this how a nation protects itself, or how wars begin? Comment below, because the implications were spreading fast. Across the region, leaders watched closely. Some admired the resolve. Others feared the consequences. Western think tanks questioned whether Burkina Faso was overreacting. African commentators fired back. When shadows gather at your borders, you don't wait for explanations. You prepare, and suddenly, Traoré wasn't just defending territory, he was redefining sovereignty on African terms. A young leader refusing to kneel was rewriting the script. Is this the start of a regional shift? Drop your prediction, because history might be turning in real time. What made this moment even more volatile was public unity at home. Soldiers felt backed, civilians voiced pride. Memes, chants, and rally clips surged with one message: independence is not negotiable. The army's loyalty hardened, the nation's spine straightened. Confidence became contagious, but confidence can also provoke powerful enemies. Traoré knew the risks and accepted them. The world was watching for a mistake. Instead, they saw resolve. Is unity Burkina Faso's strongest weapon? Comment now the final signal was impossible to ignore. By standing firm, Traoré made one thing brutally clear. Burkina Faso's future will not be negotiated in foreign capitals or shaped by forces lurking in the shadows. It will be chosen, defended, and owned by its people. Whether this moment becomes liberation or confrontation depends on what comes next and who blinks first. But the game has already changed. The question now isn't if pressure will come. It's whether those applying it are ready for the resistance waiting on the other side. Drop your final take because this story is far from over. The reports came in like thunder across Ouagadougou. Unmarked ships off the coast, foreign operatives near the northern borders, signals bouncing on satellites that didn't belong. Analysts whispered about NATO testing, CIA-linked surveillance, provocations dressed as routine operations. The capital buzzed with tension. Was this intelligence overreach, or the opening move in a geopolitical gamble designed to shake Burkina Faso to its core? Is this the start of Africa's liberation or a dangerous trap? Drop your take because what Traoré did next would shock the world. Inside the presidential palace, Captain Ibrahim Traoré did something most outsiders wouldn't expect. He didn't panic. Calm as a forest river, he moved through maps, reports, and live feeds, studying the patterns, questioning assumptions, and pushing his commanders to anticipate every move. This wasn't a leader hiding behind briefings. He was in the center of the storm. We don't negotiate when sovereignty is at stake. He told his generals, voice steady, eyes burning. The security chiefs nodded, knowing he was serious. Do you think calm can outmatch provocation? Comment now because this stance wasn't symbolic, it was lethal. By midday, troops were deployed along critical border zones. Rapid response units were on high alert, intelligence teams analyzing every anomaly, and UAV streamed live footage from hotspots. Traoré didn't just issue orders from a desk. He walked the corridors, monitored operations, and drilled commanders personally on contingencies. This wasn't micromanagement. It was leadership under fire. He came for sovereignty, and he was willing to put his life where his principles stood, but the tension wasn't only local. What no one expected was how quickly the global stage noticed. Comment your thoughts, the ripple effects were about to go international. Across Africa, social media lit up with praise and speculation. Pan-African voices framed Traoré as a new breed of leader, unafraid, decisive, and rooted in the defense of his nation. He's built different, and the world just found out why. One viral post read, accompanied by clips of soldiers mobilizing and Traoré reviewing satellite images with unwavering intensity. Meanwhile, Western analysts fretted over escalation, wondering if a misstep could ignite a wider conflict. Is this admiration or provocation? Drop your opinion, the stakes were global now. Inside military command, discussions grew heated. Some generals pushed for restraint, others argued for aggressive countermeasures. Traoré cut through the debate like a knife. Every border, every river, every road. Defend it, no hesitation, no excuses. He wasn't just giving orders, he was setting a tone of absolute accountability. Soldiers responded with precision, their loyalty cemented by witnessing a leader who didn't just speak of courage, he embodied it. Comment below, do you think his style prevents war or invites it, because the tension was far from over? As news of his decisive actions reached international newsrooms, analysts tried to frame Traoré in familiar categories: radical, populist, unpredictable. But African audiences saw something else: vision, courage, and a refusal to bow. Public commentary praised the calm decisiveness that contrasted with the chaos the foreign operatives were trying to sow. Traoré's leadership was becoming a case study: how a young African commander could wield strategy, presence, and moral authority simultaneously. Do you think the world respects this type of leadership? Comment now because this was history in motion. By evening, surveillance confirmed that foreign operatives had tested boundaries but had not yet escalated further. Traoré's show of readiness alone seemed to create hesitation. Orders were in place for counter, surveillance and emergency evacuation, but the captain remained focused on the larger picture, protecting national dignity while avoiding unnecessary bloodshed. His choices sent a clear message to the region and the world. Burkina Faso is awake, aware, and unyielding. Could restraint actually be the ultimate weapon? Drop your take because the next move could tip everything. In the end, the country breathed a temporary sigh of relief, but the story wasn't over. Western powers debated, African leaders applauded, and soldiers felt a renewed sense of purpose. Traoré emerged not just as a defender of territory, but as a new model of leadership under pressure. Calm, strategic, uncompromising, yet deeply connected to the people he swore to protect. The test had only just begun, but the lesson was clear. True leadership doesn't cower, it commands. Do you think Traoré can sustain this momentum? Comment below because the whispers from Ouagadougou are only getting louder, and the next chapter promises to shake the continent. The moment the reports hit the capital, Ouagadougou erupted into a mixture of fear and fury. Unmarked foreign mercenaries were spotted near key border towns, and whispers of covert operations circulated faster than any official statement. Memories of past foreign interference haunted the streets, and yet, in the midst of panic, a defiant heartbeat emerged from the nation. Citizens didn't just hide. They watched, they debated, they prepared. Is this the spark that will ignite Africa's next chapter? Comment your thoughts because what happens next changes everything. President Ibrahim Traoré didn't wait for analysts or allies to define the response. In front of cameras and a live, buzzing crowd, he made a declaration that would ripple across the continent. Burkina Faso would not be intimidated. We do not bow. We do not falter. Sovereignty is our right, and it will be defended. He proclaimed, every word cutting through fear like a blade. Soldiers straightened, civilians cheered, and social media lit up with the energy of a country refusing to be cornered. Do you think defiance alone can stop an invasion? Drop your take because Traoré was about to prove it's more than just words. Within hours, the army was fully mobilized. Strategic checkpoints went live, intelligence teams tracked every movement of foreign operatives, and rapid response units stood ready along rivers and roads. Traoré moved among them, inspecting, questioning, and inspiring. This wasn't a symbolic show. It was a declaration that the nation would defend every inch of its land. Soldiers reported feeling a surge of morale unlike anything before. Civilians felt the pulse of unity they hadn't felt in decades. What do you think? Can a single leader truly change the spirit of a nation? Comment below because the stand had just begun. The tension wasn't contained to Burkina Faso's borders. Across Africa, observers debated the meaning of this unprecedented readiness. Some feared escalation, predicting a proxy war waiting to happen. Others hailed it as the blueprint for sovereign defense in the modern age. He's built different, and the world just found out why. Trended on multiple platforms as clips of Traoré inspecting troops and fortifying positions went viral. Could this stand redefine how African nations respond to external threats? Drop your prediction because the eyes of the world are fixed on Ouagadougou. In the villages and towns along the borders, civilians watched columns of armored vehicles and armed patrols moving with precision. Traoré's words weren't just for the capital. They resonated with every family, every school, every small farm. Local leaders began coordinating with the military, forming a network of vigilance and protection that historians will mark as a turning point. Citizens whispered among themselves, "Our country is alive, we are awake." Is this the rise of a truly self-reliant Africa? Comment below because the ripple effects are only beginning. Meanwhile, intelligence suggested the mercenaries were not just testing defenses. They were probing weaknesses, measuring reactions, and sending signals to powerful international players. Traoré's swift, unwavering response wasn't just about defense. It was a warning to anyone who underestimated Burkina Faso. The message was clear: sovereignty is non-negotiable, and any attempt to threaten it would meet a prepared, united nation. Can boldness prevent foreign meddling? Drop your thoughts because the next move could shift the balance of the continent. The public reaction was electric. Social media, radio, and newspapers across the region buzzed with debates over the president's approach. Some criticized, some celebrated, but all agreed on one thing. Traoré had changed the game. What once seemed like a small, vulnerable nation had become a symbol, a test case for African leadership under pressure. Civilian and military alignment demonstrated that unity wasn't just rhetoric. It was action in real time. Do you believe Burkina Faso can hold the line against global powers? Comment now, because the consequences will reach far beyond its borders. As night fell over Ouagadougou, the streets were alive not with panic, but with a tense, defiant energy. The president returned to the palace, but the strategy had only begun to unfold. Plans for intelligence sweeps, countermeasures, and regional alliances were already in motion. Traoré's leadership had transformed fear into resolve, hesitation into preparation, and a small nation into a potential catalyst for regional change. Will this moment spark liberation or conflict? Drop your take, because the story of African sovereignty is being rewritten in real time, and the next chapter promises to shock the world.